It was one of the finest nights in my life. I can absolutely say that. And this from a guy who's had an awful lot of them, too. But, you know, that was a hell of a night in New Orleans, and an early, you know, in my experience for nights that could be up on this level. There haven't been too many of them. I thought it was going to be like a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. It certainly had the weight and the import of a rock. You know, it was its own mini Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because each of these were inductees anyway, and this was a piano summit, rock and roll piano summit. So I should have realized the importance of it before getting there. When I got there, I was hit in the face with it. Oh my God, this is important. I think the first event of the weekend was a gumbo tasting at Fats Domino's home. And I started to realize at that point what I was in for, and I said, oh my God, hang on. I went the day of the show in the morning over to Fats Domino's house in the 9th Ward with a tape recorder, and got him seated at the piano playing the Swanee River and showing me how it should go. And I remember him playing, sitting down and looking at the keyboard, and then at a certain point in the arrangement looking up at me and saying a word that was so funky, it just sounded like and it was saying chorus. He was saying, here's the chorus. But boy, it was like deep in the gumbo, first thing in the morning. Because he's a Creole kind of guy, you know, he still has a heavy Creole accent. A number of interesting things happened that were very, you know, to me, reminiscent of what might have gone down in the early days of rock and roll, when we did have that instance where I thought we were about to start the jam session, wasn't it, for the second show, and because we had done it in the first show, and let's get another chance at it. We had 2 shows to get this video down, and so Ray was brought to the stage and seated at the piano for a long time. Was it only 10 minutes? Felt like 10 hours. Nothing was happening. But I guess it was only 10 minutes. And then I said, well, what is going on? And I went out into the back, and Fats Domino was seated there, and he just didn't feel like playing. I think he had a stomachache. Len Delamico said, oh, you know what, Fats, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. I remember that so well. It was hotter than 110 outside. And that conversation went down. Don't do it. Don't bother, you know, if you don't feel up to it, Fats. And I think that he, you know, Len's sincerity turned Fats around, and he said, all right, I'll go do it. And of course, it was absolutely brilliant once Fats got on. We see on this outtake that story that I've been telling for 20 years about how you producers said, let's do Jambalaya because they've all recorded it individually, and it seemed like a good idea until Fats Domino said, I only do it in D flat, that's the key, no other key. And Jerry Lee Lewis said, well, you know, I could play it in C, F, E, G, A, any of those, anything you want, but do it, you know, not used to playing up in the black keys like Fats Domino did. And I asked the genius, Ray Charles, how do I deal with this? I was a little inexperienced, couldn't figure out, you know, I guess I had within me somewhere I could have said, and should have, we'll start in D flat for Fats and modulate to D natural, and Jerry Lee can take his course, and then we'll go to E flat for Ray, but I just didn't have the nerve to lay out an arrangement like that in front of these guys. So I was looking for it from them, and I went to the genius and I said, what am I going to do? Fats plays it in this key, Jerry Lee's never heard of that key. I'm asking you, genius, and he said, I can play it in any damn key you want, just get me the fuck out of here. So that was what, you know, the words of wisdom that I got that day from that genius. But you know, I think in looking back on it, as we would look back on the words of any guru, of any Maharishi, he was speaking the truth. Let's get out of here. It was 110 degrees. The verse of Hank Williams' Jambalaya that we gave Ray was the most obscure verse. Just coincidentally, I just performed New Orleans over the weekend and sang this arrangement of Jambalaya. It's now in my repertoire. And had the nerve to sing it, I should say. But could not find that third verse anywhere. But I remember when you did get it to him, David, he obviously was reading it in Braille. I don't know how you got, I didn't know you knew Braille, but he, I remember he was saying, have some fun. His line was, have some fun, talk to Yvonne, what she need-o. And he gave it that reading in the rehearsal, and everybody laughed. You know, he thought it was a cute line, too.
Okay.
Huh?
I do it
I'm moving with it.
D flat.
We're going to try Jambalaya, D flat. D flat.
My voice, sweetest voice, me oh my. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bike. Jambalaya, feeling humble. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see Mama Cherry. Pick it tall, fill fruit jaw, and be killed. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bike.
Catch all the fish in the bayou. For my Yvonne, the sweetest one, yo, my oh. Son of me gun, I'll have big fun on the bayou.
Ray Charles, take it for us, Ray Charles. Take it for us on roads, Ray. Hold on, hold on.
Mama Sierra mia. 31 years ago. Everybody. I'll go. Jimmy Rogers. Al Joe. Hank Williams. Hey, Bobby. Jambalaya. All right. I can't
different keys, you see.
F or G, either one. I recorded it in F, but it was G. Let's just do it in Z flat.
Ready? Yeah. Goodbye, Joe. Me gotta go. Me oh me. Me gotta go. Hold the piano down. My boy, sweet boy, me oh my. Son of a gun, we have big fun.
dozen. Well, I just in time, go hog wild, hey, oh, my, oh. Cause I'm a gun, I'm gonna have a little fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, roasting fire, filet gumbo. Oh, tonight I'm gonna see my Machado Mio. I'm gonna pick a guitar, feel through jaw, I might be gay, oh. Son of a gun, I'll have big fun on the bayou.
I also forgot to tell that story when you asked about the support that Jerry Lee Lewis gave me. It was in working on Jambalaya and the keys and how, you know, Jerry Lee was the guy who saw me dying in the middle of this situation with Jambalaya and saying, all right, show me, what are the chords? And I actually showed Jerry Lee Lewis, here's a D flat, here's a G flat, here's an A flat. That's all you need to know. And he looked at me and he says, okay. But I don't think he played much at all. He just sang that one. He ended up singing, yeah, and not playing. And when he sang, there's another part where he sang instead of play. I thought he was going to take a piano solo. He ended up singing instead. I thought that was so cool. Maybe that's when he sang Louis Boogie just totally spontaneously in the middle of that boogie tune. We did not know what songs Ray Charles was going to do or what the hell he was going to do. You know, we were just thrilled we were going to get to play with him, but when he got there and he said, I'm going to do my 3 biggest hits, really. I Got a Woman and Drown in My Own Tears. And what was the third one he did?
Hit the Road Jack.
The tension on the stage when the 3 of them got together in the afternoon on that stage in Storyville at a temperature of about 110 degrees inside the club, the tension was palpable. Tempers started to flare, and I said, all right, gentlemen, that's it for the day. But I really still didn't know, you know, what the rest of the jam was going to be. Well, I think we do see in that one outtake where Fats says, hey, you want to do Swanee River? You see Ray, while I'm working on something else, I just noticed that Ray was working out his introduction to the boogie tune. He worked it out. He was playing it very softly while we were working on something else. I heard that he was like that on the first Blues Brothers movie, too, which I didn't get to do. But my friends who were in the band said that he worked out that intro that he was going to do, knew exactly what notes he was going to play, and worked it till he got it just right. Funky, you know, getting the funk into it. And so Ray, you know, that was the first thing we did was the 3 of them. Let's get the 3 of them together. And then talk about Ray's set afterwards. And I think I went and visited him in his hotel suite, sort of to go to him and pay him the kind of respect that I knew he deserved, and say, what are you going to do with the band? And it was at that point he said, we got 3 ladies, three ladies who could sing background, And I thought, oh, how wonderful. And I did call Alan Toussaint for the background vocal group, and he recommended those 3 girls, but we didn't really know that he was going to do those songs. So Drowning in My Own Tears is one that not everybody, you know, that he did have to dictate at the time. Not everybody just knew it, and that you get to see a little of that. It was something that that I had learned from working with Ray Charles on Saturday Night Live, was that he dictates the time and the drum part that he wants with his feet. And it's especially important in a song as slow as Drowning in My Own Tears, because it was just boom, boom. And then he'd go, bah, boom, boom. You know, and when does that beat come down, you know? And I knew that everybody had to watch his feet, and I guess he, you know, not everybody was, so he may have had to tell somebody the secret to playing with Ray Charles, which I'm surprised he said that, because it was just something that you had to know. And I learned from talking to his drummer, the drummer that he had on Saturday Night Live when he did it back in about 75. You know, I just watched his feet. But, you know, that backbeat came down so late that I remember Steve Jordan's, you know, just tendency was to whack it when it was time. And Ray was, whoa, Ray was not prepared for the force, you know, that came down on 2 and 4 of that song. It was like a dream that we were actually going to hear Ray Charles sing Drowning in My Own Tears.
Hey, drums, the only thing I do is after I finish the last course of the thing, then we just automatically get soft, but then I'm gonna just sort of tell a little story, and it's supposed to be soft, just like what you were doing then.
Right, okay.
So perfect. But they're gonna try to turn the mic up to make you loud, man, but I really, because if it gets loud, I can't hear what I'm doing, and I ain't gonna sing loud. That's it. See what I mean? See how they got the mic humming? You say, why do they? Can you turn the mic down some for me? My mic, so I don't get the... It brings a tear into my eye. When I begin to realize G diminished. Stop. I sit and cry. The first one was E flat, baby. And then A flat. Like a child. My poor tears I know they're running wild. Oh, if you don't think that you'll be home soon. A flat, you going to... I believe I'm drowning. See, bass was easy. If you just, when you, if you don't, you know, think, when they say, when you need the G major 7th, you know, what is that? G diminished. Go to A flat first. If you don't, you'll be home. A flat, shoot A flat, not F sharp. And G. That's it. You got it. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
What we're going to do is take a minute to set the other guys' pianos.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
Okay, sounds good. No, it don't make sense. I mean, find one of their songs. I'd rather play one of their songs is what I say.
Well, the only reason
So,
I said
I'd rather play one of their songs.
Okay.
You know, it's not my show. No.
so you don't want to do what I say then?
No, that's it, period.
Fine.
Howard? Yeah.
Okay, we have
Okay. All right.
Okay. What I'll do is listen to the tape of what we just did and write down these chords for the cats.
Oh, okay.
So we know.
If you want, if you want, I'll be happy to, help you do it. If you want. If you want.
Just take the tape off.
Okay.
Right out of tune.
Yeah, right. You know, I'll tell you, when I wrote all the music to this thing, myself. And what it is, a lot of people think it's 1, 2, 3, 2, but it's really not. It's a slow 4. So the first chord is like when it brings.
Musically, of course, Ronnie was right there with me, and emotionally, he's such a positive force. You can see how he must function in the Rolling Stones as such, especially, during that time when Mick and Keith weren't talking, but that's another show. But we know that Ronnie was a sort of a Kissinger of that situation, and then he really, because of his, he has a relationship with Jerry Lee Lewis going way back to the days when the early rockers would tour Britain, and the early rock fans in Britain, like a kid like A. Ronnie Wood, would go see him, play with him, maybe open for him with the Faces, So they knew each other for a long time. Ronnie was absolutely an expert and fan of Jerry Lee Lewis, expert on how to play with him, and plays with Jerry Lee's solo set on this thing too. And so he absolutely was sort of a Kissinger of this thing. But Roy Gaines, functioned that way with Ray Charles for me because he knew Ray from way back. So I had these two great forces on guitar to help me deal with these masters of whom I was totally intimidated at the time. But Ronnie gave me a lot of confidence. I loved that idea of starting with each one of them at the bar, and then Ray on stage, because we would go right into the jam from there. I didn't realize that was Len Delamico's idea, but I do remember that he gave me the option. He said, "Do you want to tape all the intros first?" And I said, "No, I would love to do them in context and in order, just as they're going to be, because I love getting to do both music and talking." It was right after I had finished my little 70s run on Saturday Night Live, and I was used to being in a sketch and then going and playing in the band. And I said, "Oh, let's do it that way. That would be a thrill." And I didn't really. Maybe he was right in that maybe I would have prepared a question or two. I had no questions prepared, nothing prepared. Just, "Isn't this exciting?" I would just say to each one of them. It just, "Isn't it great?" I was so excited that's all I could say. "Boy, this is great, isn't it?" Then I must have play out, but we'd have a little conversation, and then they'd go up right out of the bar scene, right up onto the stage and do their set. I thought that was so cool.
You gonna sit down here? Now we're gonna face out here. Oh,
wrap out there. And then, Fats, turn the whole chair around, maybe. Turn the chair right around. And then, yeah. And then at the end, when I say, we'd love to hear a song, just go right up. The audience will see you, they'll go nuts, just start. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible. It's so great.
I'll leave my button on one button.
Unbutton. Unbutton.
We're gonna do the boogie later. After the front row, I'll do the next show.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it here on this show if it feels good. Whatever.
Just face each other a little more.
That's all I've been doing with that.
It's great, it's beautiful, it looks wonderful. We
I
just
can help
face
that,
each other
brother.
a little more. And I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna count you in and you guys go ahead and do it, okay?
What last thing you asked me?
I don't know. I'm just gonna start.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're in New Orleans at Storyville for what I think is the most exciting show that's ever existed in the world of rock and roll. Everybody has come to New Orleans really to pay tribute to you, Fats Domino, to hang out with you, which we have done, and to just play music with you, which we have all done. You've been great to us while we've been here.
You're very grateful. And I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, well, we came especially to see you. You had us all at our...
Let's do it over again.
Okay. Okay.
Where your mic at?
Top. I got a mic. It's right here.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
All right. We're here in New Orleans. We're at Storyville, which is just the hippest club, perfect club to do a thing like this. We've all come to New Orleans. A whole bunch of people have come really to visit with you, the round mound of sound, Fats Domino, to hang out with you, to play with you. Hold on.
Really beautiful.
And I certainly appreciate that.
Wait a minute. What's the matter?
We're just gonna start over again. It looks great. We just had a problem with the light. Beautiful.
Okay.
Go right ahead. All right.
We're in New Orleans, the heart of New Orleans, really, at Storyville, which is really a neat club, the perfect place to do a thing like this. A whole bunch of us have come down here to New Orleans really to see you and to pay tribute to you, Fats Domino, one of the kings of rock and roll. You've been so great to us. We came to hang out with you, to play music with you, which we did. Thanks for being so great to us.
Like I say, thanks to all of you. It's wonderful. I appreciate it very much.
Everybody came down. Everybody came in to play with you. Everybody's here to hang out. Ray Charles,
Right.
the genius, is here. What do you think about Ray Charles coming down here, especially to play with you?
Well, Ray Charles, great entertainer.
Isn't he?
Yeah,
What do you think about it?
wonderful.
Keyboard.
Then we have Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis is here too.
You can't beat that.
Imagine how I feel. I play a little piano myself.
You play plenty of piano in my house today.
Yeah, we played a little
I
bit.
might call you up and do a number with me.
All right, that'd be great. We played. Well, maybe we'll do a little.
If not, we
something
do it after the show,
Maybe
right?
we'll do something later tonight
All right.
together. That would be an unbelievable thrill for me. I can't believe how much fun it's been. We played at your house. Boy, Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones came down to play with you. Have you met Ronnie's wife, by the way, Josephine? This is Josephine, Fats Domino.
Hello, Josephine.
Just go nuts.
Don't look at the camera.
Saints is just fabulous. I mean, everything is, your set is fabulous. We'll cut it down. You know, you can do a few more songs. We'll cut out the bad ones. Just keep the good ones.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Okay, so don't worry about the ones that you didn't like. We'll just take them out.
Okay. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
You're the big ball with hot sauce, huh?
Yes, indeed. The big boss with hot sauce. We're here in New Orleans, the heart of Louisiana, Bayou country. The best club, I think, to do a thing like this. Storyville. What street are we on? What street are we on here? Storyville.
We in the street in New Orleans. Make no difference. As long as we know we all right.
All right, I'm going to start again. All right, we're here in the heart of New Orleans.
Test.
In the hippest club, I think, possible to do a show like this, Storyville, New Orleans. And Fats, basically all of us came here
to pay tribute to you. All of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame keyboard players are here tonight.
Yeah.
Ray Charles is here tonight, Fats.
Right.
He came to New Orleans to play with you. What do you think about that?
Wonderful.
Are you ready for that?
Got to be ready.
I'm so thrilled.
And Ray Charles and Jerry Lee Lewis here with
Listen,
me?
Jerry Lee Lewis is here too. Of course, he's from Louisiana, isn't he?
I think so.
You know him for a while?
Oh, yeah, we used to play with Dick Clark 20 years ago.
You did some Dick Clark tours together?
Yeah, the New York Paramount Theater. Yeah.
Really? Played the Paramount with Jerry Lee. What about Ray Charles? Did you ever play with him before?
We played, Ray Charles and I played here about 20 years ago.
Wow, you guys played together. Have you ever played together on the same stage before, all three of you playing together?
No, it's the first time.
I think we're going to make some rock and roll history tonight. You guys are legends. You guys are rock and roll legends. I couldn't be more excited. I play a little piano myself, you know.
You play a lot of piano.
That's nice of you to say. Do you think maybe I could play a little bit with all you guys?
I wish I could play piano like you do.
Oh, get out of here. You play a thing. You play a groove, which makes you smile. I don't know how you do it. Remember this afternoon you played at the house, and I said, "Wait, Fats, stop! I got to tape this." You wouldn't stop. You just feel so good, and it felt too good to stop.
Well, I was playing for you, and I couldn't stop. You made me feel good.
Unbelievable. You're unbelievable, Fats. This is the thrill of my life. Will you go? We got your band here. Will you play a couple of tunes for us right now? Go do a set for us, Fats.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
And now, ladies and gents, we bring to you the king of the big beat, the man from New Orleans, Louisiana, the one and only Mr. Antoine Fats Domino.
Anytime I hit a car, I'm gonna make sure it's a Rolls Royce.
Did you hit a Rolls Royce?
I hit my Cadillac, broke my hand.
Oh, man.
He was rehearsing before, but he's for real this shot.
What?
He was rehearsing before, but he's for real this shot. You know that?
Yeah.
That's what he wanted.
I'm going to talk about Shindig that time I saw you.
Just 1, 2.
When did that happen, man?
2 weeks ago.
What, 40?
2 weeks ago.
Can you play? How's it playing?
Hard to do.
All right. The best thing to do is to play, though. Just get going again.
Well, tight. I had to take the cast off with it. I didn't take it off. I wasn't supposed to take it off.
It looks cool, man. I think you started something. I want to say you broke your hand. I can't believe it. How long ago that happened? I'll talk about that.
About 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
He broke it bad, too.
No kidding.
Boxer break, they call it.
What?
A boxer break, they call it.
Boxer break.
Yes.
Well, don't fucking hit your car with your hand. You're a piano player. Calm down.
Carrying on like an idiot.
Just 1, 2.
You can hit somebody else with a car, but I hit the car.
All right. Director just wants me to remind you guys that it wasn't great the last night. It was terrific, but we want you to try to talk to each other more than to us.
Okay. All right. Don't forget to say, Paul, get on up here at the end of your set.
Okay.
Talking. Speak a little bit, Jerry. Speak the way you're going to talk to me. Jerry, did you practice piano a lot?
Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on that.
All right.
Say 1, 2, 3, test.
When you're happy, when you're blue. Very hard to do. That's a pretty song.
30 seconds, everybody.
I'm going to start by talking about Fats because he just came off. I'm blown away. Wow. Let's both be blown away. Holy cow.
Fats did a good job.
Yeah, he did. So you and I should just be dead. Wow. Oh, man.
He's a good person. He's rocking tonight.
Sweet.
He was rocking on that first show, no way.
Yeah.
Ray Charles was too.
Not ready yet. Not ready yet.
Didn't they play? Wow.
Hey, you work.
He's gonna try to do what you're gonna copy and tape on the thing. I thought you wanted to copy and tape. You're gonna try to use it for the show and tape.
Okay. That's mighty nice. That's mighty nice. Thank you, Gilbert. Mighty nice. Real gentleman.
Oh man, Fats Domino. Unbelievable. Isn't he?
Great, isn't he?
Isn't he something? I've never seen.
Fantastic.
Wow, this show is too much. Jerry Lee Lewis, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Paul.
Most unbelievable time I ever saw you on TV was Shindig, about 60, what, 5 or 6?
About 53.
63, yeah, maybe a little after. You're doing great balls of fire. They had a great guitar player on that show.
Right.
I can't remember his name. I'm sure somebody will remind me. And they brought him in, they put him on top of the piano. He played a solo up there, then you got up on top of the piano and joined him up there.
Right.
And it was all over. I've never seen a rock and roll performance like that.
Me and Jackie Wilson.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Jackie Wilson was on the show too.
Raquel Wilson was on the show too.
Raquel, darling, was on the show too. Listen, I got it. As far as rock and roll, man, I mean, we're all the piano players are here. Ray Charles, the genius of soul.
Right.
Fats Domino, unbelievable groove. Man, I heard that version you did Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Hippest thing I've ever heard.
Over the Rainbow. Beautiful song.
It was, that record was just the greatest.
I really wanted to do it right. I done it real laid back, bluesy like. Well,
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Where is it? Fats Domino. I want to tell you, I'm sitting here now with the killer, Jerry Lee Lewis. You are a killer, too. You kill rock and roll music. You are unbelievable. How did you come up? You invented a lot of this stuff. As far as rock and roll, though, how did you come up with that Jerry Lee Lewis style?
Well, my folks bought me a piano when I was about 8 years old, Paul,
Yeah.
and I taught myself to play. I never took lessons.
Taught yourself totally?
Yeah, taught my own
Wow.
stuff. My own style.
When I started when I was 6.
Oh, yeah?
But when I started playing, you were already playing. I was playing trying to play like you when I was about 10 years old.
Well, we're really not that old, are we?
Listen, we were at Fats Domino's house the other day. Didn't he sound great?
Fats Domino has got to be one of the greatest drummers in the world.
Isn't he something? How about that groove, the way he plays?
He's got one of the greatest bands in the world.
Yes, he does.
He's a real gentleman. Can't beat him. He's
Who are
great.
your favorite keyboard players?
Well, I'd say Fats.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys are both from Louisiana.
Yeah. We're both.
Have you known him for a long time?
For many years. About 30 years, yeah.
I just met him. I met him at that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. He's just a gentleman.
Amazing thing about this guy, he never changes.
Is that true?
He's the same.
Man. Well, man, he was so funny when he came to your house and he says, Jerry Lee, come go with me. Everything is a song for that guy.
Real gentleman.
Yeah. Listen, I happen to know that your band is set up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Ronnie Wood is gonna sit in and play with you.
Right.
Which I think is great.
Right.
You known him for a long time?
I've known him for years, yeah.
Really?
Watched him grow up.
Watched him grow up.
That's right.
And he grew up listening like me, listening to you.
That's right.
Killer, go play a couple of tunes for us with your band. Will you do that for
Thank
me?
you.
Great.
Nice talking
I'm
to you,
so
Paul.
thrilled to meet you.
God
Good
bless you,
talking to you. I got it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, you can see the way I'm behaving on this thing. I was in really rock and roll heaven, and I hadn't even died yet. That's the way I felt about this show, so it doesn't surprise me that I said I'd be able to retire.
Hey, Paul, get out of that kitchen and rattle in pots and pans.
Well, guys, if this is rock and roll heaven, I think we're the band. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go do a thing.
Oh, hi, give me a demonstration.
Give me 5, Paul. Go get him, baby.
All right, babe.
Go get him, baby.
All right, baby.
Hey, get him, Paul.
Yeah. Ronald, nice of you to make it.
All we need now is Ray Charles. We'll play a couple first.
We have the gentleman in the horn section, please. Hi, well, this is only the greatest night of my life. We have a few things going to happen a little later on. We're going to just kind of warm up a thing here. As soon as we're ready.
Okay, Steve, you ready? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was such an authentic evening because just as you see it on this show, Fats Domino started. What an opening. You know, he was going to start off Fats and Friends, kick it off. Then Jerry Lee. Both of them had their own bands. Then Ray Charles with our house band, and then the Jam. That's how it was set up, and it seemed like a sound way to go. Before Fats, you know, the great Dave Bartholomew opening up for him. I've just been reading the new Fats Domino book, and it talks about how important the musicians were and how, of course, important Dave Bartholomew was in the genesis of the Fats Domino records. He was a arranger on some of the early stuff. And then he would be on the road with him. Then he would leave the road with him sometimes, go back to New Orleans. Other guys would come in. He'd come back. But here he was, the actual Dave Bartholomew, opening up the set with that great, you know, so crowd-pleasing, but yet technique and sound on that horn is incredible. He's an underrated trumpet player, Dave Bartholomew. It's fabulous to see that.
Now, everybody knows Fats and Ray and everybody else down here. There's one man who's been the power behind the whole scene. He won't take that claim, but this is Mr. David Bartholomew.
Trying to put that electricity on now. How about it for Frogman McWilliam?
Got it now?
Oh, what the hell? Let's do it one more time for our new mayor, Mr. and Mrs. Sidney Bartholomew.
Okay.
Got to do it for you, Sidney.
No, we're going to do this. Need a towel. Seats right.
It was so monumental to get this thing to happen with everybody's input and everyone's help that I don't think I got to enjoy it until after it was all over. And I sat down and said, wow, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that. Well, what about that? You know, I don't think any of us, because it was left to be so spontaneous, I don't think any of us knew, you know, how great it was until after it